Hi, my name is Mtesam, and this is my second applied assignment. I did my assignment on Owens Valley Career Development Center at the Early Head Start program. So this is my program review. This program has been running since 2015, and I've worked with it since 2016. It's a tribally run early Head Start program that serves primarily Native American children in homes that are of lower socioeconomic statuses, such as receiving services of CalFresh, foster care services, welfare services, TANF, which is a tribal welfare service. The reason why I chose to focus on the program assessment is because I wanted to make sure that over the period of time of having different directors, it feels like some focuses during those periods have just been about functioning and making sure that we're providing, the services, but just operating. And I don't think that we've put much emphasis on language and culture as much as we should. And we have had some families that have two-parent homes that maybe one parent speaks Spanish and one speaks English, but I don't really think that we've offered enough support in the past. So I just wanted to review some of our approaches and see whether or not we can work in those areas. And mainly because we are a tribal program, we have a language, but it has been lost for many years, and there's only some adults that can still speak it. So bringing that back into the program would also be very nice. So a little bit about the background, knowledge, and experience. Beforehand, I know that it's important to include children's home languages into the classroom and helping them feel welcomed by doing that. Also, just building those relationships with families so that we can speak about those topics and find ways to build goals and work together. And I learned that in this course, but also through some of my own experiences working in the field. I know that it's important to understand the background language of development for each child, the age ranges of when things happen and how they happen, and just understanding that side to it, especially knowing that, children can no longer distinguish languages after the age of 12 months. I think this is important, particularly for my program, because we do service children that are younger than 12 months, but we have earlier age children, so I think this is the most important time to be focusing on languages and respecting families' backgrounds in that sense. This is something that I've learned in this course, and I'm happy that I learned more about that so that I could provide families with that support. Another thing is providing curriculum with DLLs in mind by including the home languages, photos, schedules, and routines is important to support the child. And I knew a little bit about this prior to coming into this class, but I learned a great deal more, and I plan to use this piece further in developing more plans on, implementing how we can incorporate it more into the curriculum that we are using, which does provide that piece. Some of my evidence did come from reviewing the assessment sheet. And as I reviewed the building, our classrooms, we do provide some language within our own culture of the Paiute language. So you'll see some words and photos that describe what the language is and means by providing the photo. And these are provided throughout the building, not just in the classroom, but if you were to walk through the hallway, you would see something, which I'll show in the next slide. But although, like I mentioned, there's very few speakers, so we have tried a little bit to incorporate some of the language and vocabulary of the Paiute language. We also have a teacher who comes in and provides some of those language opportunities to students for 30 minutes in each class. And although we do have that provided, she does not consistently attend, and at times I don't feel like what she provides is a full lesson that can really support the children. So some of the resources that I use that I thought would be really great for understanding more about this area is on ECLKC was the use of bilingual books or how to use them. Also from the same site, gathering and using language information. I thought that was really great to understand families and gathering information from them. Then I also use the Chapter 4 practical and proven strategies for teaching young dual language learners. I thought this resource was really great, and I plan on using that in the future as well in my program. And some of my new learning, as I mentioned, the program assessment that I completed in the center we lacked in a few areas, and primarily in the management systems. So communication seemed to lack for the fact that although we create relationships and we do a great job at that piece, I feel that we're not responding correctly to families of dual language learners, or we're not holding ourselves accountable of making sure that we're offering the correct services to them. And then also in our HR area, which was very low, 11 points, we lack to include cultural and linguistic questions that are and will be responsive to our families. While we are diverse in our own background of people, we really do not represent this in our interview process. So it's kind of ironic that we come from a rich culture, but we're not sharing that we're not asking about that during our interviews, or how our interviewees can bring that strength to the table. And we also do not do any type of evaluation on staff to support that as well. So those were some things. And then our training, of course, our training and professional development, which we do provide yearly with staff, but I don't believe in the past we've specifically reached out on the content of dual language learners and different cultural practices and beliefs. So we really haven't focused in that area as much as we should, and that is, one of the areas that I believe we lack in. All the other areas I think we did okay, but we also had some work that we can complete moving forward just to support those other areas. And for new inquiry, I would like to continue to learn about this by continuing to do my researches, work with other professionals, and complete professional development, that can support the staff here on site to make sure that we're designing the correct materials that can reflect appropriate cultural and linguistic needs of the families. I'd also like to place new practices in place of providing staff with training, like I just mentioned, but also making sure that they're receiving, but as well as understanding the importance of supporting children in their home language, as well as finding a way to revitalize the Paiute language that has become very rare in this area. And I would like to make sure we are really being sensitive to the families who have multiple languages in the homes, and that we're finding ways to support those children, especially these younger children that have that time frame of being able to recognize those languages before they're a year old. So I just would like to ensure that we're implementing home language in our lessons, in our curriculum to support children, especially when we have the materials and everything available. We just need to make sure it's being implemented. So my question now is, how do I support families who have lost a language and now speak only English? And then how can I support them to carry on their language with their young children who can try and revive the language? So just a lot of things that I thought about after completing this assessment with my program that I work for, and a lot of things that I would like to move forward with to better our program and our cultural background as well as the language. So thank you for listening and have a good day.